Okay, off-the-shelf video of GMT Saratoga, Volume 1 from the Battles of the American Revolution series, talking about the exclusive rules. Now I can show things I'm talking about. So we talked about the American setup. I've mixed things up obviously here through the rules demonstrations, but basically most of the American units are starting here on Bemis Heights. Then you got a few American units forward. Hudson River, so north, south. So north side is, as you can imagine, friendly for British. South side of the map is friendly for the Americans. Talked about the turn record track here. There's a lot of information and reminders on it, which is nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Color coded, again, so this is, for example, color coded red as British only turns. Color coded blue up here to remind you that the Americans have the initiative automatically on turn 3. Here's the fog table, by the way, for turns 1 and 2. It's given as an optional rule, but again, in a game of this level of complexity, I don't see why you wouldn't just go ahead and play with it, with the rule. And here's the Army morale track I was talking about before. Army morale track. For each side, it can be 0 to 15. These are the 3 categories I talked about. So this down here is called wavering. 0, by the way, is demoralized. But 1, 2, 3, 4 is wavering. 5 through 10 is fatigued, which is an interesting term, but okay. 11 to 15 is called high morale. Again, the starting morales, you're given little reminder flags right on there. It also says at start. And these are a little not little, printed in nice big text. Reminders on how to handle the initiative modifiers and unit morale modifiers. Most of the battlefield is wooded. Have some small creeks. Creeks. Here and here. Obviously you have trails cut through, nicely graphically illustrated. Some clearings. This is Freeman's Farm right here, labeled. Chatfield Farm, labeled. And of course, Bemis Heights again. Actually, from what I can see so far, and in my experience so far, and actually a very easy to use and clear map. Even if the wooded areas look, I don't know, I guess somebody might say it looks busy. Someone might say it looks like a bad, psychedelic drawing or something, but I don't have any issue with this fairly busy pattern for wooded areas. I like it. Could have definitely been done in a much simpler, older SPI style, but I like this way. So, but I'll see in play. It is nice that we're talking here. Here's you can clearly see a hex here in the clear, and so when you put a unit in the hex, it's nice that you have generous clear areas around the unit counter in the hex to still see the surrounding terrain. So talk about friendly map edges, north for British, south for American. Okay, basically what are we trying to do? I'll try to talk about what we're trying to do with reference to the decisive victories. So the British player wins a decisive victory if at least one parade order combat unit occupies either Bemis Tavern, and that is right here where Lincoln is located right now. This is Bemis Tavern in this hex here. It does, as a reminder, it's got the red star in there, which is a nice little cue, reminder. So Bemis Tavern or Fort Nielsen, 1407 right here. A key part of the Bemis Heights defense is here. It's named Fort Nielsen, got the reminder, red star. Without the presence of an enemy Zoc in the hex at the end of any game turn. So clear control of Fort Nielsen or clear control of Bemis Tavern is going to be a British decisive victory. American decisive victory starting on game turn 6. And let's see if there's no reminder on the turn track. I'm surprised. Surprised about that. Starting on game turn 6, the mirror player wins a decisive victory if at least one parade order combat unit occupies 2019. 2019 is right here. And this is Wilbur Basin. It's labeled Wilbur Basin. It's this creek coming off of the Hudson. And blue star to remind you, but 2019 without the presence of enemy Zoc. So Americans are really just, for decisive victory, they're really just going for that point right there on the Hudson. Clear north side of the creek. And there we go. That's the American decisive victory. Also of note with respect to how to win the game, there's a 10 hex area. Basically, it's the clearing around Freeman's Farm. So this is called Freeman's Farm Objective Area. It also has a little dotted line to remind you. Both sides can gain an advantage by controlling this at the end of the game.